My name is Emma Sheffield. I'm 33 years old. At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister brought her new boyfriend. When he asked about my job, my mum cut in fast. Some things are better left unsaid. My sister laughed. She hands out candy and stickers to sick kids. I sat down my glass. That's funny. He saw me every morning last month, just never without a mask. The table went quiet. My sister's smile froze. My mother's face went white. And her boyfriend, his hands started shaking. They didn't know where I really work. They didn't know what I really do. And they definitely didn't know who I was the last time he saw me. What happened next changed everything. Before I tell you exactly how the night fell apart, if this already has you hooked, hit that like button and subscribe. Only if you genuinely love these kinds of stories. And comment below where you're watching from and what time it is. I read every comment. Let's go back to that dinner table. I arrived at my mother's house at 2:30 that afternoon. The Victorian sat behind gates in one of those Westchester County neighborhoods where every driveway had German cars. I punched in the code, 1829, same as always, and drove through. My Toyota Camry looked small next to the Mercedes and BMWs. I was late by my mother's standards, which meant I wasn't there 2 hours early to help set up. The house was already full. I slipped through the foyer, carrying a grocery store pie. Homemade wasn't in my schedule this year. Hadn't been for 7 years. Emma, you're here. My mother, Penelope, appeared in the kitchen doorway, 59, perfectly maintained, cream cashmere. She looked at my pie like it was roadkill. Can you help bring the dishes from the kitchen? Not a question. I carried the pie in, set it next to 3 homemade pies in ceramic dishes. Then, I saw the portrait on the mantel. My mother and my sister, Andrea, both in red dresses, professionally lit. I wasn't in it. Aunt Holly hugged me. It's good to see you, she said quietly. She'd seen the portrait too. The table was set for 14. Lenox china, crystal glasses. My place card was at the far end, near the kitchen door, between Aunt Holly and Cousin Glenn. Perfect. Andrea came downstairs with that performative laugh. Mum, he's almost here. Trent texted, 5 minutes away. The energy changed. Everyone gathered to see Andrea's new boyfriend, the successful one. I stayed in the kitchen. 5 minutes later, a black BMW X5 pulled up. Trent Hutchinson stepped out, and my stomach dropped. Expensive navy suit, Tom Ford, Rolex Submariner. I'd seen it before. Recently. I set down the serving spoon. My hands didn't shake. Trauma surgery teaches you that. Andrea rushed to him, kissed him, introduced him around. My mother beamed. Trent smiled, shook hands, said all the right things. Then Andrea brought him into the kitchen. Trent, this is my sister, Emma. She works at a hospital. Trent extended his hand. Firm grip, warm smile. Nice to meet you, Emma. He didn't recognize me. The last time he'd seen me, I'd been wearing a surgical cap, mask, gown covered in his wife's blood. I'd been exhausted, running on 30 hours no sleep, telling him his wife and son were going to survive. He'd been crying, holding his 18-month-old daughter, saying, "Thank you, doctor." Now he was holding my sister's hand, wearing the same cologne I'd smelled through my mask 6 weeks ago. I let go. Nice to meet you. I didn't smile. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes app. October 20th, Juliet Harrington, emergency section, HELP syndrome, placental abruption, hemorrhage. Baby boy, 5 pounds 3 ounces. Husband present, Trent Harrington. I looked up. Andrea was laughing, my mother was showing him off, and I knew something none of them knew. At dinner, my mother sat at the head, Andrea to her right, glowing. Trent next to Andrea, the seat of honor, and me at the far end, between Aunt Holly and Cousin Glenn. From my seat, I had a perfect view of Trent's left hand. No wedding ring, but the tan line was clear. Recently removed. The conversation flowed around me. Trent was the center. Then he turned to me with performative interest. "So, Emma, Andrea mentioned you work at a hospital. What exactly do you do?" Before I could answer, Andrea laughed. "Oh, Emma's job is adorable. She hands out candy and stickers to sick kids. Right, Emma? Like a hospital volunteer." My mother's face went tight. "Some things are better left unsaid at dinner. Trent, tell us more about your Chicago trip." I set down my wine glass. The sound was sharp. "That's interesting," I said, calm, clinical. "Because I'm an attending physician. I perform surgery." The room went still. "I'm an attending in obstetrics and gynecology at Maria Ferreri Children's Hospital. I specialize in high-risk maternal fetal surgery, emergency C-sections. Board certified, fellowship trained. Last year, I performed 186 deliveries and 43 emergency surgeries. My maternal mortality rate is 0.8%. The national average is 1.2%. Trent's fork stopped mid-air, his face drained. "High-risk obstetrics means I handle cases other doctors can't: severe preeclampsia, placental abruption, hemorrhage. Conditions that can kill a mother in minutes. It's not handing out candy, it's saving lives." Andrea stared. "Why didn't you ever say—" "Because you told the Hendersons I was a nurse," I said, turning to my mother. "You told your book club I help with births. You've never once said the word surgeon when introducing me." My mother opened her mouth, no words. I looked at Trent. Last month was particularly brutal. October. I had a case that stuck with me. A Monday, got the call at 12:15 a.m., patient in the ER, 35 weeks pregnant, severe preeclampsia, escalating fast. I was out the door by 12:18. Trent's fork dropped, clinked against his plate. The husband was in the waiting room, terrified, holding his toddler, praying I could save them both. Trent stood up suddenly. "Excuse me, bathroom." He rushed out. Andrea ran after him. I could hear her in the hallway. "Trent, what's wrong?" I took a bite of mashed potatoes, chewed slowly. My mother stared at me with something like fear. "Emma, what are you doing?" "I'm eating Thanksgiving dinner." Andrea came back alone, flushed, angry. "He's on the phone. He won't talk to me." "Emma, what the hell are you doing? You're lying. You're jealous." I took a sip of water. I don't need to lie. His phone is about to do it for me. 2 minutes passed. 3. Trent returned, pale, sat down heavily. "Sorry about that. Work." I cleared my throat. "Last month, that case I mentioned, severe preeclampsia at 35 weeks, escalated to HELP syndrome around midnight. Emergency section, placental abruption, significant hemorrhage. Baby went to NICU, mother needed transfusion." Trent gripped his napkin, knuckles white. The husband was there the whole time, so grateful. He thanked me, said I saved his family. I told him that's my job. The hardest part isn't the surgery, it's the waiting room. He had his toddler daughter with him, maybe 18 months old. She was asleep on his lap. Trent's hand shook so badly he had to set down his wine glass. I came out of the O at 2:43 a.m., still in scrubs, still had blood on my shoes. I walked into that waiting room and told him, "Your wife is going to be okay. Your son is in the NICU, but he's breathing." Andrea's face started to register horror. "Wait, Trent has a daughter? Oh, I said, looking at her. He didn't tell you about Lily. Trent's phone vibrated on the table. Loud. The screen lit up. Juliet, wife, with a photo of a blonde woman holding a newborn. Andrea screamed. What the fuck, Trent? He grabbed the phone. It's not, I can explain. The phone rang again. Then a text came through. Andrea read it aloud, voice breaking. Trent, where are you? Noah has a fever of 101.5. He won't stop crying and Lily won't eat. You said you'd be home by 3. The babies need me. Please call me back. Andrea whispered. Babies? You have children? Trent reached for her. Andrea, let me explain. Don't touch me. She stumbled backward. I stood up slowly. Every eye turned to me. Noah was born October 20th at 1:51 a.m., I said. 5 pounds, 3 ounces, NICU level 2. His mother, Juliet, had severe preeclampsia that escalated to help. I was the attending surgeon. Trent stood frozen. You were in the waiting room, Trent, holding Lily. I walked out at 2:43 in the morning, still in scrubs, still had blood on my shoes. I told you your wife and son were going to survive. You cried. You thanked me. You said, I thought I was going to lose them both. Then you kissed Juliet's forehead when I brought you to recovery. Andrea made a broken sound. Your mother-in-law was there, I continued. She hugged you. She called you the best husband Juliet could ask for. Trent tried to speak. We're separated. Divorce pending. You kissed her, I said. That was October 20th. You started dating my sister 1 week later. I looked at Andrea. No, wait. You met in July. That means you were dating her while Juliet was 6 months pregnant, high risk, on bed rest. Andrea bent over and vomited into her napkin. Trent grabbed his coat. I have to go. Where the fuck are you going? Andrea shrieked.
I have patients who need me.
He walked out. The front door slammed. Andrea collapsed, sobbing. My mother tried to comfort her, but Andrea pushed her away. The guests left within minutes. Aunt Holly came to me, put her hand on my shoulder. I had no idea, honey. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. You're incredible.
I have patients
what you do,
who need me.
saving that woman. I'm ashamed I didn't ask more questions.
Me.
My mother finally spoke, quiet, broken. Emma, I didn't know he was married. I would never have. You didn't know he was married, I said, turning to face her. But you knew I was a doctor. You knew I saved lives. You knew I worked 80-hour weeks, delivered over 180 babies last year, published research, taught residents, and you told people I handed out stickers. She had no words. You never asked. You never came to the hospital. You never asked what a maternal fetal surgeon does. You just decided it wasn't good enough. And you spent 7 years making sure everyone else thought so too. I'm sorry, she whispered. Your father would have been so proud. Dad died when I was 19. I went to medical school to save people like him. I chose OB/GYN because mothers die, they hemorrhage, they stroke out, they code on the table. I stopped that 12 times last year. That's my job. And you called it handing out candy. I stood up, folded my napkin. Emma, please don't go. It's Thanksgiving. You're my daughter. I have patients who need me. Andrea, still crying, said, Emma, I'm sorry. I should have asked. You're a surgeon. You save babies. I save mothers, I corrected. The babies are usually fine. It's the mothers who die. 700 a year in the US. I make sure my patients aren't on that list. Please, how can I fix this? You can't. I walked to the door. My mother called after me. I stopped, hand on the knob, didn't turn around. I've spent 7 years saving women like Juliet, women who trusted me with their lives. That's where I get my validation, not from you, not anymore. I'm done fighting to be seen by people who refuse to look. I opened the door and walked out, closed it with a quiet click. I sat in my car, engine on. It was cold, dark. I should have felt devastated. Instead, I felt lighter. For 7 years I'd been holding my breath, waiting for them to see me. Tonight, I finally exhaled. I drove to the hospital, badged in. The familiar sounds, monitors beeping, a baby crying somewhere. Deborah, no, Darlene Whitmore, the night shift charge nurse, looked up. Dr. Sheffield, I thought you were off tonight. I was, but I wanted to check on Mrs. Pendleton. I walked to room 312. Mrs. Pendleton was 32, pregnant with twins at 34 weeks. She smiled. Dr. Sheffield, on Thanksgiving? Just wanted to check in. Blood pressure good, twins moving well. You saved my twins this week, she said. I smiled. Keep them cooking a few more weeks. You're doing the hard work. Then I went to the NICU. Baby girl Taylor, 32 weeks, 3 pounds 8 ounces, born via emergency section for placental abruption. I'd saved both mother and baby. I looked through the incubator glass. Look at you breathing on your own. That's my girl. A nurse came over. The Taylor family asked if you could be here for discharge. They said they only trust you. My eyes stung. Tell them yes, I'll be here. In the break room, I saw 23 missed calls from my mother, 8 from Andrea, 47 texts. I didn't read them. Then, Darlene poked her head in. There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent. I walked to the maternity waiting area and froze. Juliet Harrington stood there, blonde, exhausted, holding Noah in his carrier, holding Lily's hand. The toddler clung to her mother's leg. Dr. Sheffield, I'm sorry to come here. I didn't know where else to go. Trent left. He's not answering his phone. Noah has a fever, 101.5, and the pediatrician said to bring him in. I remembered you said, if I ever had concerns, I trust you. Don't be sorry, come on. I brought her to the pediatric ER. Paige, the on-call pediatrician, examined Noah. Minor viral fever, already coming down with Tylenol. I sat with Juliet, held Lily so she could focus on Noah. The toddler fell asleep in my arms within minutes. Noah's going to be fine. I want to keep him a few hours to monitor. When did you last eat? I don't remember. I ordered food from the cafeteria, brought it to her. Eventually she asked, did something happen with Trent? He said he had a work trip. I decided on truth. Juliet, I need to tell you something. But first, Noah is safe. You're safe. You're here, and we're going to take care of you both. She nodded. Trent was at my family's Thanksgiving dinner tonight, with my sister. They've been dating for 4 months. Juliet's face went blank. Then she cried, silent, then harder. He said we were trying to work things out, that the baby would save us, and he was with someone else. I'm sorry. You deserve to know. He told her he was in Chicago. He told you the same. He lied to both of you. She cried for a long time. I stayed. What do I do now? She whispered. Whatever happens next with Trent is between you two. But right now, Noah is healthy. Lily is safe. You survived a life-threatening pregnancy. You're here, you're strong, and you have people who will support you. Starting with me, if you'll let me. Why are you being so kind? I'm a stranger, and my husband just hurt your sister. You didn't hurt anyone. You're my patient. I don't abandon my patients. My phone buzzed. A text from Aunt Holly. Your mother is devastated. Andrea is a mess. But I'm proud of you. You did the right thing. Love you, honey. I responded, thank you. I'm okay. At the hospital where I belong. Then one from Andrea. I'm so sorry. Trent blocked me. Please call me. I didn't respond. A nurse appeared. Dr. Sheffield, Mrs. Pendleton started having contractions again. I stood. Juliet looked up. Go. Save someone else. I'll be okay. I evaluated Mrs. Pendleton. Mild but concerning contractions. I gave her medication to stop the labor, monitored her for 2 hours. The contractions stopped. The twins were safe. At 11:30 p.m., I checked on Juliet one last time. She was asleep on the family room couch, Noah beside her, Lily curled up next to her mum. Safe. I smiled, changed out of my scrubs. Before leaving, I saw a text from Juliet. Thank you for everything, for saving me in October, for saving me again tonight. Noah's fever is down. I don't know what happens next, but I know I'm going to be okay because of you. I saved the text, drove home to my small one-bedroom in White Plains. Quiet. Enough. I thought about the dinner. Trent's face. Andrea vomiting. My mother's broken apology. Jennifer showing up. I thought about worth. I'd spent 8 years trying to earn my mother's pride. 4 years as an attending, proving myself every day. But I was already enough. I'd been enough every single time I walked into an O and saved a life. Every time a patient thanked me. Every time a baby took their first breath because I was there. That's where my worth lives. Not at a dinner table where I'm invisible, but in an operating room at 2 a.m. when someone's life is on the line. My phone buzzed one more time. Hospital. Dr. Sheffield, emergency section, scheduled for 3 a.m. patient, just arrived via ambulance, requesting you specifically. Can you come in? I looked at the message, then at my scrubs in my bag. I smiled, typed back, on my way. Because this is who I am, this is where I belong, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If you've ever had to walk away from family to protect your peace, or found your worth in your work when your family wouldn't see it, comment boundary below. I read every single one. And if this story meant something to you, please subscribe. There are more stories like this, stories about finding your worth when others refuse to see it.